Is Draymond going to last next season with the Warriors?
I don't know. I don't know.
Whoa.
Right.
When Stephen A. Smith says, I don't know if a guy is going to last with a season with a team, my first question is always, are you just kind of thinking about it, or is this based on stuff you're hearing?
No, I'm thinking about it because of the people that I know within that organization. Let me say this.
Yep.
It's very important that I qualify my statements because I'm a huge fan of Draymond Green, the player and the person. I love the guy. And I think that the kind of energy that he brings to the basketball court, I'd want him on my team any day. Gotten to know him a little bit. I'm very, very fond of the Michigan State program because I love me some Tom Izzo, who I would want, if I had a son, I would want him playing for Tom Izzo. That's how I feel about that man. Here's my thing about Draymond, and I hope he's watching this because forget, the snafu, that's his personal business. Whatever mistake he made, that's fine, and I ain't getting into all of that, okay? I work for Walt Disney. I'm just not going there. What I will say is this. Draymond Green is being praised by a lot of people because of what he does on the court. My brother, do not think for 1 second that they won't turn against you in a flash. He needs to understand this. The Golden State Warriors have Kevin Durant now. Now, obviously, Draymond has the kind of requisite skills that complement both Steph, Clay, and Kevin Durant being on the same team. But it also diminishes the need for him if he becomes too problematic. Now, I don't believe that this is something that would happen, but let me tell you something. As somebody who's gotten to know the Warriors organization, whether it's Joe Lacob, whether it's Bob Myers, to a lesser degree, Steve Kerr. I think a lot of people misconstrue my thinking Mark Jackson should have never been fired, which is something the Warriors know that I have always felt takes nothing away from the great organization that they are, the great coach that Steve Kerr has proven to be, even though he didn't have a great Game 7. And by the way, Steve Kerr is a fantastic guy. He's a good man. So I don't want this to be misconstrued. But what I'm saying is Bob Myers is also a good guy. And Joe Lacob is about winning. And he's about winning and being positive while doing it. And he absolutely loves Draymond Green. But Draymond Green speeding down the highway at 118 miles an hour and Snapchatting it at the same time, even though his mama was right when his mama came out publicly and said, don't act like we've never tested how fast our car could go from time to time. There are people that have foolishly done that. He's not the only one.
But no one's sitting here, of course.
Well, of course not.
Of course not. None of us.
Never that. But the point is that not only that, but then you got to remember the situation after the finals and you got into a beef and got arrested, because of the beef in the nightclub, okay? And then now this. These are not things that have made the Golden State Warriors the brand that they have become. And I'm not saying this to chastise Draymond Green. I got nothing but love for the brother. I'm saying this to warn him, and it's not to cast aspersions on the Golden State Warriors organization. I'm saying any organization, any brand, they can hug you, they can kiss you, they can sing Kumbaya to you, they can throw parties for you, they could do all of this stuff. At the end of the day, any organization that believes you are compromising their money and their bottom line because of image issues ultimately will turn on you if you're not careful. And that is the message that I want to send to Draymond Green. He's got to stop making the news for these reasons, which is why I said I don't know. Because the personnel that the Golden State Warriors have in place, Max, if Draymond Green finds himself continuously getting bad press, if there is one team that can actually afford to lose him right now, it's Golden State. I sincerely doubt they'll do it, but they could afford to. He needs to be careful.
I don't think they can afford to, and I think that's why he's okay. Now, by the way, not only just the off the court stuff, but sometimes a guy is so high energy all the time, that can even wear thin in the locker room, even if he is the emotional center and the kind of spiritual leader of the team. If that dude is on all the time, that can wear thin over time, I think.
Well, you're right, because remember, during the halftime of the OKC Warriors game, he cussed out Steve Kerr.
Yep.
I'm here to tell you that Draymond actually got a bad rap for that because, considering how he's the workman, you don't go into the locker room and isolate him and calling him out, which is how he took it, which is why he blew up. So I don't condemn him for that, but it was still bad press for Draymond.
Draymond was almost the finals MVP. Let's not forget. He was almost, if one of the greatest players who ever lived, probably the greatest player since Michael Jordan at his best, didn't go ham in Game 7, Draymond, they win that game.
32, 15, and 9.
Going to be finals MVP. I mean, but he's the crazy guy on the team. A lot of teams have that one crazy guy, right? Where it's like a Dennis Rodman on the Jordan Bulls team, the second three-peat, where it's like, can this guy hold it together when we need him to hold it together? Vontaze Burfict, that was the and it was like actually at the end of the game he couldn't. Draymond, I think the jury's still out there because on the one hand, he did get suspended a game. They did lose that game. On the other hand, the way that series played out, I don't think that would have made a difference. I don't think LeBron was going to let those guys lose. And Draymond didn't do anything else where, well, he did actually, but he didn't wind up missing any more time. So he is really walking that fine line for that crazy guy who you hope can keep it together. But this is why I really think he's okay. I don't think he's in jeopardy. And I think even with Kevin Durant on the team, they really need him. Strategically, he's what makes them different. He has revolutionized the big man position, and you could call it a 4, you could call it a 5. Point forward, point center, whatever it is.
Man shoots 49% from the field and 38% from three-point range.
From 3. Now, you can say that's because, and I think correctly, that Steph Curry is not all three-pointers are created equal. Steph is shooting from so far away that's actually in the spread pick and roll. That's really creating more space than there's ever been created. Correct. And so it makes Draymond go from a 33% shooter to a 38% shooter, which is all the difference in the world in the modern NBA. But Draymond can shoot the 3. He can swarm in the paint. He can rebound. He can make great decisions with the ball as a kind of a point forward. He can put the ball on the floor. He's so well-rounded that, in fact, when other GMs are looking at the Warriors, strategically speaking, one of the players you must take into account, even with Steph and Durant on this team, really the question is, what are we going to do about Draymond? How do we match up with that? Or how do we get a guy like that? Like Karl Anthony Towns right now has supplanted for many Anthony Davis as the big you want because he came into the league shooting the 3 very well. They made him do it in college. And now it's like he's kind of Draymond Green, but bigger and better and more talented. Like that's one of the Draymond's existence is one of the reasons a guy like Karl Anthony Towns exists with the game he has and the reason it's so coveted. And besides the fact that he's Steph's real pick and roll partner. I mean, I think strategically, Draymond has such importance to this team that even with Durant there, his importance cannot be undermined.
Well, see, that's all fine and good and excellent basketball analysis, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is a Golden State Warriors team that's scheduled to move into a new arena in a couple of years in San Francisco. We're talking about a Golden State Warriors team that has the golden boy, the reigning 2-time league MVP, who, can it get any nicer than him? I mean, one of the true gentlemen this sport has ever seen. We're talking about a backcourt that's considered the greatest shooting backcourt in the business. We're talking about an owner in Joe Lacob who is elite, absolutely believes his organization is elite, and literally considers themselves the new standard bearers. And so when you look at it from that perspective, again, I'm not saying this is something that they're entertaining at the moment or anything like that. I'm simply giving Draymond Green a heads up because I got that much love for the brother. I want him to know I don't care how much they hug you and smile at you and tell you something. Don't push the envelope if you want to stay in Oakland, because if you keep being in the news for the wrong reasons, they will turn on you in a heartbeat. There's a history of players who was shell-shocked that an organization that loved them dearly and valued them decided to say goodbye. Be careful.
Last point on that. I still think he's okay, even having said that, unless the Warriors are actually a loser organization who cares so much about their brand image that they will sacrifice championships. Durant, and I love Kevin Durant. In Game 7 against the Warriors, he came up small. In Game 7 against Cleveland, Steph Curry looked like he didn't want it. I know he was probably compromised. Klay Thompson went cold. Do you know who went bananas? Draymond Green, with the chips on the line when it seemed like no one else wanted it. In Game 7 of the finals, Draymond showed up big. And that dude is a championship player.
We can reach an accord. You're probably right in terms of, based off of what you said, maybe we don't move him now. But next summer, if you keep getting
Don't slip, Draymond. Don't slip.
Don't slip.
You better keep playing.
You're saying that. I'm just saying. I'm just looking out for him and saying, don't slip.
Don't let it compromise your production.
Stop this.
Your team's money.
And I'm quite sure that Tom Izzo will tell him the same thing.
You better keep getting those triple doubles on a winning team.
No question. When we come back, there is a quarterback competition brewing in San Francisco. Is Chip Kelly already making a mess with the Niners? We'll explain and react when we come back.